In the last video in this series, I began talking about the Constellar Archetype, covering Constellar Sheraton, Aldebaran, and Pollux. If you haven't seen that video, please go back and watch it, as I explain some of the terms I'll be using to talk about the stars these monsters are based on. And also, I think you'll like it. Let's keep talking about the main deck monsters, starting with Constellar Acubens. Constellar Acubens is a level 4 light machine monster with 800 attack and 2000 defense. It has an effect where, when this card is a normal or special summon, all Constellar monsters you control gain 500 attack. Constellar Acubens is based on the star Acubens in the constellation of Cancer. The name Acubens comes from the Arabic word meaning the claws. This is fitting as Cancer is the crab and Acubens is located in the left claw of the constellation. Acubens is a white dwarf and is almost 3 times the size of our Sun. It is approximately 164 light-years away from Earth and has an apparent magnitude of 4.2. Acubens is located in the constellation Cancer. Cancer is the 4th constellation in the zodiac with the astrological dates of June 21st to July 22nd. It is most visible in the night sky during the month of March. However, it is the faintest of the zodiac constellations, with no stars being brighter than an apparent magnitude of 4. The story of Cancer is a very small part of the tale of Hercules. The story goes that while Hercules was fighting the Hydra, a crab came out of the swamp that they were in and bit Hercules on the foot. Hercules then stomped the crab, crushing it. The goddess Hera, who did not like Hercules, rewarded the crab with a place in the stars for its small contribution. And that's all there is to the story. Acubens gets its design from Cancer. The monster has large claws for both of its arms as weapons, and the protrusions on its shoulders of the armor that resemble the eye stalks for a crab. Acubens also has very large feet, which may be a reference to the story and how it was crushed by Hercules. Its effect may also refer to the story of when it was summoned, as it gives a small boost to the monsters, referring to how it helped the Hydra in battle, if only just a little. The symbol for Cancer can be seen behind the monster, and in the background of the card, the constellation of Cancer can be seen faintly with the star Acubens being highlighted. Constellar Leonis is a level 3 light beast monster with 1000 attack and 1800 defense. It has an effect where, during the main phase, you can normal summon one Constellar monster in addition to your normal summon. Constellar Leonis is based on, well, all the stars in the constellation of Leo. While some stars are given names like the ones we've seen in the previous constellation monsters, all stars are given scientific names, usually including either a Greek letter or number, to designate their location in the sky. Stars in the constellation of Leo are given the name Leonis. And while there are many stars that make up the constellation, there are 10 primary stars that make up the shape that we see. These are Alpha Leonis, Beta Leonis, Gamma Leonis, Delta Leonis, Epsilon Leonis, Zeta Leonis, Theta Leonis, Iota Leonis, Mu Leonis, and Tau Leonis. Alpha Leonis is also known as Regulus, which comes from the Latin word for prince. Regulus is a double star. This is a term for a pair of stars that appear to be right next to one another, but could be very far apart. Regulus is a blue-white star that is 3 times the size of our Sun, is 79 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 1.35, making it the brightest star in Leo. Beta Leonis is also known as Denebula, which comes from the Arabic phrase that can be translated as tail of the lion. Denebula is a double star that is 1.7 times the size of our Sun, is 35 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 2.14. Denebula is also a variable star, which means that its luminosity will vary over a period of several hours. Gamma Leonis is also known as Algeba, which comes from the Arabic phrase meaning the forehead. Algeba is a binary star that is 31.8 times the size of our Sun, is 130 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 2.28. Recently, a planet was discovered that revolved around this binary star. If the planet happens to be a rocky planet, it would be very similar to the Star Wars planet Tatooine. Delta Leonis is also known as Zosma, which comes from the Arabic word meaning the shoulder, or the lion's mane. Zosma is a blue-white star that is 2.1 times the size of our Sun, 58.4 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 2.56. Zosma rotates on its axis at a very rapid speed of 180 kilometers per second. compared to the Earth, which rotates at about 0.5 kilometers per second. Epsilon Leonis is also known as Al-Janubi, or Ras El Asad Australis. Both names mean Southern Star of the Lion's Head. Al-Janubi is a yellow giant that is 21 times the size of our Sun, is 247 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 2.9. Al-Janubi has variable star-like qualities, changing our brightness slightly every few days. Zeta Leonis is also known as Adephra, which comes from the Arabic word meaning the braid, referring to its position on the lion's mane. Adephra is a white giant that is 6 times the size of our Sun, is 260 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 3.4. White giants, also known as blue giants, are the hottest of the giant stars and the very short stage before they become red giants and begin their path to stellar death. Theta Leonis is also known as Cheriton, which comes from the Arabic word for small rib. Cheriton is a typical yellow star that is 4 times the size of the Sun, is 165 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 3.3. Cheriton is much younger than our Sun, being only 550 million years old, compared to the Sun's age of 4.5 billion years old. Iota Leonis is referred to as, well, just Iota Leonis. It doesn't have a Latin name to classify it. Iota Leonis is a triple star system that is 2.7 times the size of our Sun, is 79 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 4.0. Iota Leonis is a Type G main sequence star, which happens to be the same classification as our own Sun. Mu Leonis is also referred to as Raslasa, which is an abbreviation from an Arabic phrase meaning head of the lion. Raslasa is an orange giant that is 10.7 times the size of our Sun, is 124 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 3.88. Recently, it was found that Raslasa has a planetary system made up of gas giants that are at least twice the size of Jupiter. Tau Leonis is also just referred to as Tau Leonis, not having a Latin name to classify it. Tau Leonis is a red giant that is 25 times the size of our Sun, is 560 light-years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of 5.0. Although Tau Leonis has reached red giant stage and it's expanded to much larger than the size of our own Sun, it's much younger than our Sun, being only 190 million years old. You can see by looking at this completed chart that even in the same constellation, the stars that make it up vary so much in the size and distance from us, making these constellations we see very specific to where we are in the universe. Well, that was a lot of talk about the stars, so let's finally get to the constellation itself. Leonis stars are found within the constellation of Leo. Leo is the 5th constellation of the zodiac with the astrological dates of July 23rd through August 22nd. It is most visible at night during the month of April. The story of Leo is another from the tales of Hercules. The story goes that the lion lived in a cave just outside the town of Nenma. Each day, the lion would go to town and carry off townspeople and eat them, and although they tried to stop him, the lion seemed impervious to weapons. When Hercules arrived, he tried to shoot the lion with arrows, and upon seeing the arrows bounce off the lion's fur, he followed the lion back to its cave. There, Hercules grappled with the lion, eventually choking it to death. He used the claws of the lion to remove its pelt, which he then wore as a cloak to protect him. The lion was placed in the sky as a symbol of its role as the king of all beasts. Constellar Leonis gets its design from Leo. The monster has a mane of hair around its head, symbolizing that of the lion's. It also has a cloak, which may be a reference to the cloak made of the lion's pelt in the story. Behind the monster is the symbol of Leo, and in the background of the card, the constellation of Leo can be seen, with the star Regulus being highlighted. Constellar Virgo, known as Constellar Spica in the OCG, is a level 5 light fairy monster with 2300 attack and 1600 defense. It has an effect where, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 5 Constellar monster from your hand in face-up defense position. Constellar Virgo is based on the star Spica in the constellation of Virgo. It is the only monster in the Constellar Archetype that had its name changed from a star in the constellation to the constellation itself. The name Spica comes from the Latin phrase which can be translated to the Virgin's ear of grain, a reference to the story of Virgo. Spica is a binary star that is 7.47 times the size of our Sun, is 250 light years from Earth, and has an apparent magnitude of positive 0.97. The orbital rotation of the two stars of Spica is so close that the system appears as an egg-shaped star. Spica is located in the constellation of Virgo. Virgo is the sixth constellation in the zodiac with the astrological dates of August 23rd through September 22nd. Virgo is most visible at night during the month of May. The story of Virgo is the story of Dike, the last immortal that lived among humans. The story goes that Dike, the daughter of Zeus and Themis, lived among the humans during the Golden Age, where it was always spring, food always grew, and humans never grew old. Dike lived among the humans and was the goddess of wisdom and justice for them. It was when Zeus overthrew Kronos and became the new god of Olympus that the Silver Age began. The cycle of the seasons began, the humans had to work for their food, and they often fought and began to dishonor the gods. Dike warned the humans that if they did not return to their old ways, that things would get much worse. Next, the Bronze Age began, and the humans descended into violence, theft, and war. Unable to bear it any longer, Dike left the human world and flew up to the heavens, where she now stays among the stars as the goddess of justice. Constellar Virgo gets its design from Virgo. The monster has wings and angelic nature very similar to the depictions of Virgo. The symbol for Virgo can be seen behind the monster, and in the background of the card the constellation can be seen, with Spica being highlighted. That is all the time that I have for this video. Please check back next video where I will talk about Constellar Zubin Shamali, Antares, Caus, and Sombra. Thank you for watching.